You ever have that feeling where you spend hours, maybe even days, cramming something new into your brain, only for it to just disappear a week later? Yeah, it's a struggle we all know. But here's the thing. What if I told you it's not you? It's the methods you're using. So let's get into it, because today we're going to unlock the scientifically proven ways to make learning actually, stick.
I mean, come on, does this scene look familiar? You, a textbook, maybe a cup of coffee, and that trusty highlighter. You're reading the same chapter over and over again, just thinking, okay, this time it's going to sink in. We have all been there. But let's be honest with ourselves. Is it really working?
And yeah, this right here, this lays out that frustrating cycle perfectly. We do all this passive rereading, and what do we get? Just this temporary feeling that we know it. We highlight everything, but we don't really get it. We cram at the last minute, and boom, it's all gone the second the test is over. It feels like we know it, but the moment you have to actually pull that information out of your brain, poof, it's just gone. See, this isn't a failure of effort on your part, it's a failure of strategy.
All right, so let's just get this out of the way right now. This is not your fault. Seriously, for decades, we've basically been taught to learn in a way that feels super productive, but in reality, it's just incredibly inefficient.
And look, this isn't just some good advice I'm pulling out of thin air. It's all grounded in some pretty serious research. We're talking about a landmark report from psychologists at Kent State University. These guys analyzed dozens and dozens of learning techniques to figure out what actually works and what really, really doesn't. And trust me, the results are kind of shocking.
So, the big reason why all our old habits just completely fail us, well, it all comes down to this one really powerful and kind of tricky psychological concept. You can think of it as the main villain in our story of learning. And here it is. It's called the fluency illusion. This is that sneaky, deceptive feeling of mastery you get when you reread your notes. The words look familiar, so your brain goes, oh yeah, I know this, but it's a trap. Your brain is confusing the ease of recognizing the material with the ability to actually recall it from scratch. And that's the key takeaway here, folks. Recognition is not the same thing as recall, not even close.
Oh man, I love this quote because it's just so real. My brain gets it, but my hands don't. Has that ever happened to you? It's that exact feeling of watching a YouTube tutorial, you're nodding along, you get every single step, and then you go to do it yourself and you just freeze. Your hands don't know what to do. That right there is the fluency illusion in a nutshell. Your brain recognized everything, but it never actually learned how to do it.
And here's a great way to think about it. It's like watching Michael Jackson's Thriller video, say 100 times. You would absolutely recognize every single move. You'd know exactly when that zombie shuffle starts, you'd be ready for the moonwalk. But what if I asked you to get up right now and actually perform the dance? How's that going to go? Probably not so great, right? Well, that massive gap between recognizing the moves and being able to do the moves, that's the fluency illusion.
Okay, so we've identified the enemy, we know what the fluency illusion is. The big question now is, how do we beat it? Well, we're about to arm ourselves with a toolkit. 4 powerful evidence-based strategies that are basically designed to completely shatter that illusion.
Just 4. That's it. We're not talking about a million different things to remember, just 4 super useful techniques that, if you use them right, can literally change the game for how you learn and remember stuff for good.
So here they are, the core 4. You've got active recall, that's all about pulling information out of your brain, not just putting it in. Then there's spaced learning, which is all about timing. Self-explanation, that's where you become the teacher. And finally, interleaved practice, which is, you guessed it, all about mixing things up. Now, I know they might sound a little academic, but the ideas behind them are actually super simple and practical.
Now look, you can use these on their own and they'll work, but the real magic, the real power happens when you start combining them. Think of them like ingredients in a recipe for amazing learning. So let's start with what is probably the most effective duo of the bunch.
Okay, so this whole process is sometimes called distributed practice, and it combines our first 2 methods, active recall and spaced learning. It's a total powerhouse. Here's how you do it. Step 1, recall. After you learn something, you actively try to pull that information out of your head without looking at your notes. Step 2, wait. And this is the weird part. You actually leave a gap, a day, maybe even a week. It feels wrong, but letting yourself forget a tiny bit actually forces your brain to work harder the next time, and that's what makes the memory stronger. Then, step 3, you recall it again. Test yourself. Finally, and this is key, you only go back and review the stuff you actually forgot. See how efficient that is? It is the literal opposite of just passively rereading everything.
All right, next up is self-explanation. You ever hear that the best way to learn something is to teach it? Well, that's exactly what this is. The idea is simple but so powerful. After you read a chapter or learn a new concept, close a book and explain it out loud, in your own words. You can explain it to a friend, your dog, a plant on your desk. Seriously, it doesn't matter. The act of teaching forces you to organize your thoughts, and you immediately find the holes in your own understanding. It really is true. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Okay, our final method is interleaved practice. And I'm going to warn you, this one feels totally wrong at first because it goes against everything we were taught about studying. Most of us study in blocks, right? An hour of topic A, then an hour of topic B. Interleaving flips that completely on its head. You mix it all up in one session. A problem from A, then B, then C, and repeat. Now, it's going to feel harder. It's going to feel chaotic, but that's the whole point. That struggle is what's good for your brain. It forces it to switch gears and learn how to figure out which strategy to use for which problem, instead of just mindlessly applying the same one over and over.
So, we've got the techniques down. These are the tools. But listen, these powerful methods are only as good as the engine that's driving them. And that engine is your mindset.
So, let me ask you a question. Do you think your beliefs about yourself can physically change your abilities? I know, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But there's this absolutely fascinating study that suggests our mindset can have a real, physical, measurable impact on our bodies.
Okay, so let me tell you about this thing called the counterclockwise study by Dr. Ellen Langer. Picture this. She takes a group of men in their 70s and brings them to a retreat. But this isn't just any retreat. It's been meticulously decorated to look and feel exactly like it was 20 years earlier.
And for 5 whole days, they lived as if they were 20 years younger. There were no mirrors to show them their older faces. They talked about news and sports from that earlier time, listened to the music of the era. They were completely immersed in a world where they were back in their prime.
And the results? Honestly, they were astonishing. Get this, in just 5 days, these men showed actual, measurable physical improvements. Their posture got better, their hand dexterity improved, even their vision and hearing got better on objective tests. They didn't just feel younger, their bodies literally started to act younger.
So think about that for a second. Let's bring this all the way back. If your mindset can literally reverse some of the biological signs of aging, what do you think happens when you tell yourself, oh, I'm just bad at math, or I could never learn a new language? You're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are physically and mentally limiting your potential before you even begin.
So here's the bottom line. The real secret to learning isn't about being smart or a natural. It's about 2 things. First, truly believing that you can improve, that your abilities aren't set in stone. And second, using the right strategies, the ones we just talked about. It's not about talent, it's about mindset and method. That's it.
So listen, you're not bad at learning. You've never been bad at learning. You've just been using the wrong instruction manual for your own brain. But now you have a better one. And that means the possibilities are pretty much limitless. So the only real question left is, what are you going to master next?